My beta reader process has changed a lot since my first time doing it a few years ago. Today I'll be sharing every single question I asked my beta readers to get the feedback I'm looking for. The first time I did beta readers, I had over 20 questions for every section of the book. I wanted to make sure I covered all my bases and got answers to the questions I was really looking for. But I also had never done beta readers before, so I didn't know exactly what kind of feedback I'd be getting, and so I didn't really know what to expect. The process was very involved for everyone. It was definitely not smooth. I would send each beta reader one section of the book at a time, and then afterwards I would ask them to message me on Facebook Messenger for an interview. Then I would proceed to ask them many a question about the section they read, and all in all this took probably over an hour for each section for each beta reader. Even though my beta team was pretty small, this was not a sustainable method. This just took so much time for both the beta readers and myself, and even though I had a pretty small team of beta readers, I would usually have two who were reading at the same time, and so one would always have to wait on me for the interview. Thankfully, I have since updated my process this time around, and it is much easier for everyone. My goal for changing up the process was to make it as simple as I can for the beta readers while still getting all the information I needed from them. First off, I just gave them all one document to work and review in for the entire process. This removed the need for the interview, and I also pared down the number of questions by a lot. It's easier now that I know exactly what I'm looking for and what kind of feedback I actually need from beta readers. So I split the book into 12 sections this time around, and each one had 10 to 13 questions per section. I had some questions that I asked every single time, as well as mixing in a few that were specific to the events or characters of that section. Alright, so for every single section I asked the following questions. 1. What are your initial thoughts on the section? I always ask this first because I want to give them a place right after they finish reading to leave whatever their thoughts are at the moment. Surprisingly, this is a really helpful question. Next, I ask, did anything feel rushed or too slow? Pacing is something difficult for me to judge sometimes, so I always want to get their input on this as well. Next, what did you enjoy and dislike? Was anything confusing or unclear? On a scale of 0 to 10, how would you rate this section? This one I'm not really able to use in my edits until most, if not all, of the beta readers have finished. Often, if it's a lower number but there aren't any specifics as to why, this tells me there's something in here that was boring or repetitive that I need to go back and fix. This can also be a sign of there just being rougher writing or poorly written sentences here that slowed them down or made it less enjoyable to read. Next, I ask, what needs improvements? And do you have any theories or predictions about what will happen next? This one is super important to me because of plot twists. I really need to know if beta readers see them coming or not. And the last question that is included in every section is, do you have any other notes? This one is always at the very end of the questions. Then for each section, I have about 5 questions that are specific to the events and characters happening there. For example, I ask questions like, what did you think about X character? What did you think of blank scene? How do you feel about Y and Z's relationship? Do you feel like the magic in this section was explained well? How do you think X is handling this situation? Did this section have any emotional impact? So I chose these questions as I was making my final round of edits before beta readers. I had to be careful not to accidentally give things away by asking too much about one character or event, but for the most part it's a pretty straightforward process of just figuring out which characters and events I need feedback on. Some of my questions were also chosen because of CP feedback or developmental editing changes that were made along the way. If there was something that I worked on a lot or changed in a lot of different ways, then that's usually something that'll make it into my beta reader questions. And then finally, at the end of everything, I had one long questionnaire about the book as a whole. So about the characters, I asked, which characters did you notice changing/developing throughout the story? Which characters did you like and dislike and why? When the story flipped between this character and that character, which one were you more excited to get back to? What did you think about the main character's developments? Do they make sense for them? How did this character come off to you? Did you like how they were written? And then I asked the same question about 2 other characters. Last, for characters, I just asked if they have any other thoughts on characters that they want to mention. Then these are the questions that I asked about story. What parts of the story were your favorite and least favorite and why? Did the characters' choices feel logical and appropriate for the situations? Was the wrap-up satisfying? Did the final scene incite curiosity about what happens next? And then, were there any loose ends you felt weren't tied up at the end? Then about setting, I asked, how did the world of Alexia feel to you? Were any world-building elements confusing or too complicated? Were any of the settings hard to picture or not described well? And then finally, I asked a few general questions. What would make the book better? / what do you wish was different? What do you think this book should be titled? What do you think will happen in the next book / rest of the series? What, if anything, are you most interested to learn about in the next books? Characters, events, places, etc. Do you think the book should have a pronunciation guide? What about an appendix? If the series were to become audiobooks, do you think the narrator should be male or female? Which do you usually prefer? And then lastly, is there anything else you'd like to say about the book? From the writer's side of things, beta reading is an interesting process. So I have a couple more videos on the topic lined up for YouTube in the next few weeks. If you'd like to dive into the world of Alexia, you can check out Age of the Gods, which is a free short story I have available on my website, linked down below. Alright, that's all I got for you, so thanks for watching. Bye!